Adonai, Shir Chadash, Shir Adonai, Kol Haaretz, Shir Adonai, Baruch Shemo. בסכו מיום ליום ישועתו שירו לאדוני שיר חדש שירו לאדוני כל הארץ שירו לאדוני ברכו שמו בסכו מיום ליום ישועתו ספרו בגויים כבודו לכל hi di 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 yai hi di 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 hi di 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 hi hi di di hi di 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 hi yai di di hi di 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 hi di hi di 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 hi yai hi nai nai hi di 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 nai nai hi yai di nai nai hi di 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 nai nai yai di di nai nai hi di 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 nai nai yai di di nai nai hi di 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 nai nai yai di di nai nai hi di 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 nai nai yai di di nai nai hi di 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 hi yai di nai nai hi di 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 hi yai di nai nai hi di 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 hi yai di nai nai hi di 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 hi yai di nai nai hi di 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 Shalom Aleichem Malachi Hasharet Malachi Elyon Mi Melech Malchi Amlachim Hakadosh Baruch Hu Boahem Leshalom Malachi Hashalom Malachi Elyon Bi Melech Malchi Hamlachim Hakadosh Baruch Hu Ni L'Shalom Malachi Hashalom Malachi Elyon Mi Melech Malchi Hamlachim Hakadosh Baruch Hu Tzeitem L'Shalom Malachi Hashalom Malachi Elyon Mi Melech Malchi Hamlachim Hakadosh Baruch Hu.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
We welcome Shabbat and the peace it provides, a palace in time as Rabbi Abraham Joshua Heschel teaches. It's our time to take time out. So as we prepare to welcome Shabbat in, I invite you to join me in a pre-Shabbos meditation. Uncross your legs. Nice. That's right. Uncross your legs. Close your eyes. Put your prayer book on your lap. Make sure your face feels calm. Unclench that jaw. Breathe in slowly and deeply. In and out. In and out. May the words from Siddur Lev Chadash inspire a sacred spark within us all. Draw near, eternal God, as working day turns to Sabbath rest. You have been with me all the week, and yet I have forgotten you, God of my hope and my salvation. Now, in the stillness of Shabbat, I say your name, remembering the love you have shown to me, and in gratitude and thanks I turn to you to bathe my hungry soul in your kindness. As we breathe in and out, let go of the week that has passed. Embrace the stillness. Look for the sweetness. Feel the rejuvenation, the goodness that is possible when we let Shabbat in. We take one more deep breath and open our eyes as we prepare to celebrate Shabbat together. We turn to page 3 to welcome Shabbat in with light. It's my pleasure to call up Dr. Cheryl Davis to offer the reading before our blessing.
Anyone got a lighter? Okay.
And this is why we usually have the oil lamp lit.
L'chaim.
O source of light and truth, creator of the eternal law of goodness, help us to find knowledge by which to live. Lead us to take the words we speak into our hearts and our lives. Bless all who enter the sanctuary in need, all who bring the offerings of their hearts. May our worship lead us to acts of kindness, peace, and love.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu להדליק נר של שבת.
Blessed are you, Adonai our God, sovereign of the universe, who hallows us with mitzvot, compelling us to kindle the light of Shabbat.
We turn now to page 5 as we sanctify Shabbat with wine, singing Kiddush.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu ושבת קודשו באהבה וברצון הנחיל לנו זיכרון למעשה וראשית כי הוא יום תחילה למקרא קודש זכר ליציאת מצרים כי בנו בחרת ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים ושבת קודשך באהבה וברצון הנחלתנו. ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת. לחיים.
L'chaim. Turn with us now to page 13 as we welcome Shabbat with song from Psalm 96, Shir Chadash.
Shiru l'Adonai kol haaretz. Shiru l'Adonai shir chadash. Shiru l'Adonai kol haaretz. Shiru l'Adonai shir chadash. Sing unto God, all the earth, a new song. I will sing unto God a new song. Sing unto God, and we'll all sing along. All the earth, a new song unto God. Shiru l'Adonai kol haaretz. Shiru l'Adonai shir chadash. I will sing unto God a new song.
We turn to page 22, praising God for God's goodness from Psalm 92, Tov lehodot l'Adonai. And we're going to start actually the third line down.
Tov lehodot l'Adonai ulezamer l'shimcha elyon. Tov lehodot l'Adonai ulezamer l'shimcha elyon. Lehagin baboker chastecha ואמונתך בלילות. להגיד בבוקר חסדך ואמונתך בלילות. טוב להודות לאדוני ולזמר לשמך עליון. טוב להודות לאדוני ולזמר לשמך עליון.
We turn back to page 20 to welcome the Sabbath bride as we sing Lecha Dodi. We sing verses 1 and 2, 5 and 9. And when we reach verse 9, Bo'e v'shalom, we rise as a congregation. We turn to face the entrance of our sanctuary to welcome that Sabbath bride, that Shabbat spirit that we feel when we sing together as one. So whether you're here with us in the Wolf Sanctuary, joining us on live stream from your own sacred space, please sing out with all that Shabbat spirit. That Sabbath bride is waiting to be beckoned.
Lecha dodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabela. Shamor וזכור בדיבור אחד השמיענו. אל המיוחד אדוני אחד ושמו אחד לשמו תפארת ולתהילה. לך דודי לקראת קהלה פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת קהלה פני שבת נקבלה לקראת שבת לכו ונלכה כי מקור הברכה מראש מקדם נשוא הסוף מעשה במחשבה תפילה לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה התעוררי התעוררי כי באורך קומי אורי 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 שיר דברי כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה בואי ושלום עטרת בלה גם בשמחה וצולה תוך אמוני עם סגולה בואי חלה לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה.
Turn to those around you, wish them a Shabbat Shalom. Let them know you are glad they're here. We turn now to page 26 for the Chatzi Kaddish as we remain standing through the Shema.
יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה בעלמא יברך ירותי והמליך מלכותי בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי כל בית ישראל בעגלה ובזמן קריב ואמרו אמן יהי שמי רב המברך לעלם לעלמי עלמיה יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה בריחו לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה דאמירן בעלמא ואמרו אמן. המבורך לעולם ועד.
We continue together on the top of page 31 in the English. Praise to you, Adonai our God, from whom the evening flows. Your wisdom sets the way on which time and season glide. Your breath guides the sail of the stars. Creator of the tide of time and light, you guide the current of day into night. As heaven spans to infinity, you set its course for eternity. Praise to you, Adonai our God, from whom the evening flows. Baruch atah Adonai, hama'ariv aravim. On the bottom of 32, we read together. Everlasting love, you offered your people Israel by teaching us Torah and mitzvot, laws and precepts. Therefore, Adonai our God, when we lie down and when we rise up, we will meditate on your laws and your commandments. We will rejoice in your Torah forever. Day and night we reflect on them, for they are our life, and doing them lengthens our days. Never remove your love from us. Praise to you, Adonai, who loves your people Israel. Baruch atah Adonai, ohev amo Yisrael.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed.
You may be seated.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
On the top of page 39, we read responsively. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot.
That wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness.
That there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands, marching together.
מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש, מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש. נורא עושה, נורא מלכותך ראו בניך, בוקע ים לפני משה ומרים, זה אלי ענו ואמרו, זה אלי ענו ואמרו, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש, מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש. נורא
On page 43, we read together on the bottom. Give us a place to rest, Adonai our God. Bring us into shelter in the soft, long evening shadows of your truth. For with you are true protection and safety, and in your presence are acceptance and gentle love. Watch over us as we go forth. Prepare for us as we return. Spread over us your shelter of peace, over all we love, over our Jerusalem and yours. Baruch ata Adonai, hapurei sukat shalom aleinu, ve'al kol amo Yisrael, ve'al Yerushalayim.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם, ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם, כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, וביום השביעי שבת ויהי נפש, וביום השביעי שבת ויהי נפש.
We rise for the Amidah beginning on page 46.
Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi yagid tehillatcha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Yadadai, 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 Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, אלוהי רחל ואלוהי לאה, האל הגדול, הגיבור והנורא, אל עליון, גומל חסדים טובים וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואמהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה. מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיה הכל אתה רב להושיע, מוריד הטל, מחכל חיים בחסד, מחיה הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומי דומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה, ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה לחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיה הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני, האל הקדוש.
You may be seated. We continue together at the top of page 55. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day, and may this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai, mekadesh ha-Shabbat. On page 57, we keep our finger on the Chatimah as we have a reading by Nachman of Bratslav found elsewhere in our prayer book. Every word of one's prayer should be like a rose that is picked from a bush. One gathers rows upon rows until a bouquet is formed and can be offered to God as a beautiful blessing. Together, Baruch atah Adonai, she'otecha levarecha be'ira na'avod. When we behold your heavens, the work of your fingers, the moon and stars that you set in place, what are we humans that you are mindful of us? We mortals that you take note of us. You made us little less than divine, adorned us with glory and majesty. You gave us dominion over your handiwork, laying the world at our feet. How majestic is your name throughout the earth. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha ulecha na'eh lehodot. On page 61, we join together in our prayer for peace. Grant us peace, your most precious gift, O eternal source of peace, and give us the will to proclaim its message to all the peoples of the earth. Bless our country as a safeguard of peace, its advocate among the nations. May contentment reign within our borders, health and happiness within our homes. Strengthen the bonds of friendship and fellowship among all the inhabitants of every land. Plant virtue in every soul, and may the love of your name hallow every home and every heart. Praised are you, Eternal One, who blesses our people with peace. Baruch atah Adonai, hamivarech et amo Yisrael b'shalom. Having prayed for peace in our world, we think of those who face the future not fully whole, those who are in need of healing of mind, of body, and of spirit. Their names are on your order of service, or if you're joining us on live stream, they're on your screen. We think of these people in our community and extended community, and we take a moment to whisper aloud those who we are thinking of. We join together in the words of Misha Berach, which can be found on page 253.
source of strength, who bless the ones before us. Help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Misheberach imotenu mekor habracha lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
Amen. We take a moment now for our own silent prayers.
Say shalom bimromav, uya'aseh shalom aleinu, me'al kol Yisrael ve'imeru amen. Oh, say shalom bimromav, uya'aseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imeru amen. Oh, say shalom bimromav, uya'aseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imeru amen.
We have a special guest darshan this Shabbat. It's my pleasure to call up member of our Board of Trustees, chair of our membership committee, and many other things as well, Corey Palmer, to teach some beautiful Torah this evening.
Shabbat Shalom. This week's Torah portion is Beha'alotecha. Beha'alotecha contains a lot of memorable moments for the Israelites and consequently us as Jewish people. The Israelites receive elaboration on the Chag Pesach, the Passover festival, and begin to journey forth from Sinai. God takes the form of a cloud during the day and a firelight glow at night, moving with the people and the tabernacle, leading the Israelites to the promised land. This is the portion where the Israelites famously, at least me, engage in a kvetch fest with Adonai, provoking God's anger, which is what I'd like to focus on tonight. Picture it. Hundreds of thousands of us delivered from slavery, eating meals of this substance that happens to appear on the ground each morning, and we're like, yeah, you know what? I'd like some lox. Listen, I get it. Eating the same thing over and over again can get pretty awful, but when a pillar of smoke and fire is guiding you through the desert and providing you this manna to just appear and sustain you, I'd like to think that we wouldn't be complaining. But I do empathize with the Israelites. I didn't realize it until later in life, but I grew up living below the poverty line. Thankfully, my parents were able to provide my siblings and I with an amazing life, and I never knew things weren't super flush as a kid, so kudos to you, Mom and Dad, for making that happen. That said, to this day, I won't eat spaghetti because of how frequently this was our dinner when I was a kid. And yes, I know that other pastas are just semolina, and it's just a different shape, but still, no spaghetti. I'm sure some of you maybe had to eat a lot of ramen in college and aren't huge fans of that nowadays, or have similar foods that you just can't eat anymore. So I get the being over it with a kind of specific food. I also understand looking back when you're facing an uncertain future and wondering if you should have moved forward in the first place. The Israelites are coming from a life of slavery in Egypt, but one with dietary variety and comforts that are clearly lacking during their wanderings in the desert. Again, despite the awe of God there and with the people, it still wasn't enough to overcome this human desire for comfort. Instead of it just being, can we have something other than manna, it became a Stockholm Syndrome kind of situation where not only was there ingratitude for God's gift of manna, but a desire to return to their slave masters so they could resume what was normal in their lives. There's a video that I see circulating online every now and again from Rabbi Dr. Abraham Twersky, a Hasidic Rebbe, who talks about how obstacles in life, including stress and discomfort, can be stepping stones to growth. The video basically talks about lobsters. Lobsters have a hard exoskeleton, a shell, that constricts them as they grow. Eventually, the lobsters get uncomfortable enough that they sequester themselves in a shelter away from likely predators and begin the process of molting their exoskeleton. They step out of this hard old shell, and for a time, they're extremely vulnerable while they wait for their exoskeleton to harden. Eventually, though, the shell hardens, and they're once again protected and are able to move about freely in the world with their best chance of survival. But as they continue to grow, the process continues. The impetus for change in the lobster is their discomfort. It's the pressure of being confined by a shell that is too small for what the lobster has become. And if it weren't for that discomfort, who's to say that they would ever actually sustain real growth? They have to have that discomfort to know that it is time to change. Reb Twersky goes on to describe that humans are not so different from lobsters, that if we, hopefully, continue to grow throughout our lives, there will be times that we need to shed our shell. Those times of discomfort and stress and pressure are what we need to experience in order to truly grow and change who we are as people. We have to live in the discomfort as we're exiting Egypt to enjoy the fruits of the promised land. I'm currently going through a moment of stress and discomfort and hoping to earn some change and growth by persevering through it. I've recently started keto. Again. Some of you may recall that I went on a weight loss journey before the pandemic. I went from 291 pounds and a 44-inch waist to 201 pounds and a 34-inch waist. And when I came out of keto, I very lightly, slowly introduced carbs, and everything was okay until I decided I could have a piece of candy. I don't know if it was actually candy or not, but that's literally all that it took was just one bite of sugar, and my body was like, endorphins! And I pretty rapidly went from a day with no sugar to every day with sugar, and really up until a few weeks ago when I started keto again, was like binging on sugar in the extreme, on the weekends specifically. We're not talking about a whole box of, or a whole row of Oreos, but like the whole box of Oreos in one sitting, or buying Girl Scout cookies and devouring an entire box of tagalongs before I get home to proceed to eat more boxes of tagalongs at the house. So I've come to a conclusion: sugar's gotta stop. It must go the way of the dinosaur. You may say, but no chocolate, no delicious cherry pie, which is my favorite. You may not like it, but I love it. And yeah, the answer is yes, it has to be. I have to be done with it because I am a slave to sugar. I realize that this plan is going to be difficult, and when I come off of keto again and reintroduce carbs, I'm gonna have to check myself to make sure that I don't jump back on the sweet tooth train. That's gonna be difficult and daunting, but it's okay. Life will go on, and I've had so much sugar in my life that it's honestly probably enough that the average person would consume if their lifespan was double what it actually is. So it'll be okay. I will be okay. It'll be difficult going and helping to bake hamantash or cookies for Oneg, but I can do it and I'll be better for it. And I'm sure that I'll come upon a day when I desperately want nothing more than a cookie, that it can't be that difficult to just have one. But I also know that if I have one cookie, that cookie will become 2, will become 3, and I don't want to find myself back in those shackles. I do not want to be a slave to my body's cravings. I will have to wander this desert, but I know that when I come out on the other side, I'll be better for the struggle. So this Shabbat, I encourage you to look at the moments of discomfort you face in your own life. Is there some habit or behavior that you know you need to stop, but you don't because the fear of what life may look like without it keeps you paralyzed and stuck? Take courage knowing that the struggle is not unique to you, but that our very ancestors in the desert felt the same way. Know that the discomfort, the stress, the pressure is all molding you to be a better you. And find the courage and strength to see it through. May you all be free from slavery in whatever ways you may find yourself enslaved. May this be God's will. Shabbat Shalom.
We continue with Aleinu, page 283, and I invite you to rise if you're able.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גאולה ליוצר בראשית, שהוא שם חלקנו לאחד את שמו, וגורלנו להמליך מלכותו. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
You may be seated. As we turn to page 288 for our memorial meditation, we note with sadness the death of Abraham Reback, husband of Myra Reback, father of Amy and David Sokol, Jenny and Rich Wolkowitz, Sam and Don Reback, and Nancy and Anthony Altadonna, grandfather of Jessica, Allison, Jake, Zoe, Phoebe, Talia, Solomon, and Filippo. We also note with sadness the death of Jay Silberman, husband of Mary Pat Mitchell Silberman, father of Darcy and Jeff Lessel, Todd and Lori Silberman, and Carrie Silberman and Gabe Arrieta, brother of Rabbi Sharon Morton, grandfather of Malky, Claire, Elizabeth, and Samuel. We also note with sadness the death of William Schlosser, husband of Patricia Schlosser, father of Neva and John Elgin, and brother-in-law of Michael and Ruth Molinas. Page 288. When I die, give what's left of me away to children and old men that wait to die. And if you need to cry, cry for your brother walking the street beside you. And when you need me, put your arms around anyone and give them what you need to give me. I want to leave you something better than words or sounds. Look for me in the people I've known or loved. And if you cannot give me away, at least let me live in your eyes and not in your mind. You can love me best by letting hands touch hands and by letting go of children that need to be free. Love doesn't die, people do. So when all that's left of me is love, give me away. Our thoughts turn now to those in our community and extended community who have died at this time in years past. As we mark their yard sites, we remember them. Carol Abel, Norman G. Allen, Juliet Art, A. Melvin August Jr., Barbara F. Baum, Helen Bennett, Jack Bergovoy, Larry Berkman, Fanny Blum, Philip Bookman, Violet Braun, James Dick, Rabbi Richard E. Dreyer, Dr. Stephen Elbain, Sarah Feller, Wilma Fisher, Howard Frieden, Abe Gittleson, Harry Ralph Goldman, Sharon Gonzalez, Ruth Jean Gerwitz, Edith Harris, Esgar Hockman, Jacob Carfield, Beatrice Kerman, Barbara Kaiser, Irving Latt, Miriam Elaine Leff, Max Levin, Harry H. Levy III, Joyce Novich Lyons, Madge Mullen, Gloria Apatoski, Robert Osason, Joe Porterfield, Neil Porterfield, Chaya Rabinovich, Consuelo G. Rodriguez, Ida Milgram Rosenman, Edgar Sanditon, Phyllis Schoner, Dolores Sigel, Ann Schoss, Joanne Stockstill, Morris Strum, Doris Aline Paris Vitali, Eugene Leslie Wayne, Amnon Weidenfeld, Rosa Wolf, and Harry A. Wood, Jr. We also think of those who were laid to their eternal rest in this past month, whose family and friends are in a mourning period of Shloshim. We remember Lois Cahotis, Cecilia Leon Myers, and Martha Lewis Marshall. We also think of two who have been laid to their eternal rest this week, whose families are in a mourning period of Shiva. Remember John Lazarus, brother of Dr. Jim Lazarus and Dr. Susan Gershenhorn, sister-in-law of Kathy and Frederick, uncle of Richard, Joshua, Andy, Peter, and Charles. We remember Delmira Lowe, mother of Ari, Michael, and Brian Lowe. To all of these names, we add those which are in our hearts each and every day as we turn to Kaddish Yatom as one community rising together, page 294. Yitzgadal v'yitzkadash shemei Rabbah, be'alma divrach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon u'v'yomechon u'v'chayei d'chol Beit Yisrael, b'agala u'v'zman kariv v'imru, amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevorach le'olam ulmei almaya, yitzbarach v'yishtabach v'yitzpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitzadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei d'kudashah brichu, La'ela mikol berchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechamata, da'amiran be'alma v'imru, amen. Yehe shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru, amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru, amen. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us and to all Israel, to which we say, amen. You may be seated. It is my honor to call forward Debbie Roos, President of our Board of Trustees, to deliver tonight's announcements.
I'd like to welcome everyone, and I'm so glad that you could join us at home or in our sanctuary or at home in your own sacred space. I'd like to thank Sisterhood for sponsoring and hosting our pre-Shabbat oneg. Thank you to Cheryl Davis for lighting tonight's Shabbat candles. Thank you to our cantorial soloist, Michael Seidel, and to Corey Palmer for his beautiful Devar Torah. You know we're so lucky to have him on our Board of Trustees, right? This is stellar. Earlier this week, our board took a tour of the building with a phenomenal docent, our very own Arlene Dreyer. Thank you very much. And while it may seem like an odd thing to do, as it's a place that many of us know well, it was important that as trustees, we looked at it through our fiduciary lenses and not simply as congregants. I won't share the countless things I learned about our building, as I hope you'll collect a group of your friends and schedule a tour for yourself. Just in this sacred space alone, I learned some things that make me see it differently and appreciate it even more. I encourage you to have this opportunity for yourself, perhaps as a Pesach Sheni or a second chance, a second look to see something you look at every day, as Rabbi Nathan shared in her devar in this week's announcements. Throughout our tour, we talked about the ways Reform Judaism and Temple Beth-El has evolved over the years. We discussed the design intentionality of the sanctuary and the chapel, modeled after the Protestant churches of the day, inclusive of the beautiful organ. Trustees shared personal stories where B'nai Mitzvahs were not a thing, and reading Torah was not in style. Services were entirely and intentionally in English, often with great opposition to Hebrew and anything remotely Zionist. The wearing of talit and yarmulkes ranged from explicitly not welcomed to passively tolerated. The fascinating thing is that these and so many more reformations have occurred within a couple of generations. We have congregants who don't recognize today's temple, who don't feel at home here because there's too much Hebrew, too many instruments, and too many religious artifacts. It's simultaneously understandable and fixable. It's understandable because I know how uncomfortable I am when I return to my childhood home. It doesn't feel like home anymore. My mom is gone. It's not my room anymore. I'm a guest. In contrast, it's fixable. First, humans are by nature resilient, learning creatures. Our congregation's changes are evolutionary, not revolutionary. But acquiring knowledge and skills comes with practice. The more practice people have, the more comfortable they are. Secondly, while our traditions may have changed, being a warm, welcoming, inclusive place for Reformed Jews to cultivate their Jewish lives has not. We are Temple Beth-El through the ages because we choose each other as a community, as fellow congregants, and as a holy people. Temple Beth-El will continue to change. This building will continue to change. For like any thriving institution, change ensures our growth and our future. L'Ador V'Ador is part of our tradition, even if it's not always easy. Here's some upcoming events at the temple. Pride Shabbat is June 23rd. Please come early and join us for pre-Shabbat oneg at 6 p.m. San Antonio Pride Parade is Saturday, June 24th at 7 p.m. Is that true? PM?
Yeah. Oh, yes, that's very
PM, 7 p.m. Join Temple Beth-El and march with us. The registration link is in the weekly announcements, or please contact Ross Halfant. Sisterhood Bingo is Sunday, July 30th from 2 to 4 p.m. at Temple Beth-El, and the registration link is also in the weekly email. The 2023-2024 religious school registration is underway for Temple Beth-El students, preschool age 3 through post-confirmation, grade 12. Please contact our religious school office for further information. We look forward to your participation in these community building opportunities. For more information, please visit the upcoming events page on the Temple website. And as a reminder, everything going on at Temple is listed on our website calendar and in our weekly email, which arrives in your inbox around 4 p.m. every Thursday. Shabbat Shalom.
Our closing song is Shalom Aleichem, which is the new melody that Michael composed. Is it a new composition?
Yeah,
A new composition, so I think it was the world premiere tonight, which is pretty exciting.
it was.
Amazing. So we're going to sing that as our closing song as well, and that can be, the words can be found on page 24. Please rise.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachi Hasharet, Malachi Elyon, Mi Melech Malchi Hamlachim, Hakadosh Baruch Hu, Boachem Leshalom, Malachi Hashalom, Malachi Elyon, Mi Melech Malchi Hamlachim, Hakadosh Baruch Hu, Baruchuni L'Shalom, Malachi Hashalom, מלאכי עליון, ממלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש, הקדוש ברוך הוא. צאתכם לשלום, מלאכי השלום, מלאכי עליון, ממלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש, הקדוש ברוך הוא.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.